Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So here we are for episode 15, the Cronenberg Prophecies, with two incredible special guests. I'm going to make my first pitch to my first guest. Please introduce yourself.
Well, I appreciate such a great introduction in that way. I am Russell Sage Patrick. A lot of people out there in the horror community, the indie movie community, they may know me, they may not, but that's okay too. They've at least probably heard of me. But I am a producer, an actor, a very short story writer, and sound guy. I'm a sound guy, and I actually have my own little production. I wouldn't call it a company, but something behind the scenes, called Rogue Enterprises. But yeah, and then I'm just I'm out here having fun, enjoying the indie industry, and hopefully doing what I can to make people happy and enjoy the film.
Yeah.
Or films.
We'll make our pitch to our next guest.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? I'm Matt Burns. I've been in the indie film industry for about a decade now. Well, off and on, I got started in this through meeting Conrad Brooks and then getting to meet all these great people out here. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun to do all this. I've worked with Absurd Productions Pictures. I've worked with Small Town Horrors, which is my company, Slasher 15 Productions. Jordan Miller and I just released a film, The Only Ones, on Future Phantascope. So it's been a lot of great stuff happening in this area. Everybody's really been great with support, including Mr. Ramirez here. Thank you so much for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I think everything's gonna be. I think we got more great stuff coming down the line. So.
There were,
if I can, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to give Matt credit for this because I wasn't really involved in a lot of horror before I got into it, and Matt gave me a call one day to fill in for somebody, and it just went, it just exploded from there. So thank you, Matt.
No problem. That. I'm sometimes an impromptu booking agent too, I guess.
Exactly. So
we're going to take a look at a couple of things, and I think we're going to lead up to what actually helped inspire this episode. We're going to take a deep look at some of the early films of David Cronenberg. We have some incredible trailers, and I think all three of us were pretty excited to find out that Cronenberg has a new film coming out. Gets released nationwide April 25th. And I want to say with David Cronenberg, that's the first filmmaker's name I learned as a teenager, right? With Scanners, and I've got Scanners, and from there on out, I wanted to see David Cronenberg's films.
Sure.
I've been pretty much a lifelong fan. Let's go ahead and pull up our first still, if you don't mind, Nick. I wanted to take a minute and say, Matt, I had a great time out at the screening at the Alamo Drafthouse. Thanks for putting that event together. It motivated me to take my butt out there. Had a wonderful time, had a great meal, and had a great conversation with Russell. Let's take a look at our next post, and there we go.
Yeah.
I had to show off Donna's pants one more time.
Those are some.
Oh yeah, yeah. And again, Matt, I want to thank you for the introduction to Donna and Mark. They've been incredible. They're one of my favorite episodes. And when I was inviting them on, we were trying to figure out, what conspiracy do we deal with? And I'm thinking they're filmmakers, so let's just look at the JFK film. And that's what's kind of helped originate a couple of things with Matt, Andrea, Russell.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take an opportunity for us to be able to look at different filmmakers, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't want to beat people up with conspiracies here and conspiracies there. But, so I love the pants. And let's go to our next clip real quick. Our next still. There we go.
Oh, before we go,
shoot.
I just want to say with Mark and Donna, I love those guys. I've been in a couple of their projects, and they they're funny people, and I don't mean they are
Yeah,
funny,
funny.
but yeah, and they're great to be around, and it's great to work with. So
And
I had
you
to
know,
say so.
a long history. They said, Matt, they've known you for a really long time.
Yeah, since my first project with Conrad Brooks, we did our film Gypsy Vampire: The Final Bloodlust, which is wow, that movie is something else.
And to talk about Matt, talk about Mark and Donna. It was because of Matt that I met Mark and Donna.
Right, because it was Brazen Impact.
Brazen Impact, that's right.
That was the
Yep.
film that you mentioned earlier that we called you in kind of last.
No,
minute.
it was KOA.
Oh, it was KOA.
KOA
Yeah,
that you
that was
called me for the-
Monica's.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
Monica's
yeah,
project.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, but then I think it was Brazen Impact.
Yeah, Brandon was Brazen
after
Impact, and
that
it's
one,
good.
yeah, it's been pretty cool. Like, so, yeah, I mean, I like the fact that Mark and Donna like to do different genres of movies.
Yeah.
It's not just horror. It's not just
Right.
drama. It's not
Right.
just comedy.
Right.
It's
Right.
they like to do different things, which is refreshing because
Absolutely.
some people, I think we've even talked like some people only got one idea. Some people only got one idea, I guess. Yeah. I mean, but some, I mean, and they like to keep doing that idea over and over again. It's just, but I mean, with them, it's always something different. It's always a lot of fun as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. So
Can we let's talk about the still real quick, head on a writer's block.
Sure.
The film I saw that you're in, what's the name of that one?
it's called Just a Night in the Woods.
Yeah.
And it's from his brain.
No, it's
isn't?
it's partially from my brain. Actually, Todd Martin takes a lot of credit for this. He had these, like, me and him were coming up with ideas. Like, Todd does a lot of our screenwriting. He did the Sibylla 6. He's done a lot of Fuzzy Monkeys productions.
Idea Man.
Yeah, I was gonna
Todd
say,
Ryder.
Yeah, that pretty much. Yeah, I was gonna say that. So I said, yeah, he and Christopher Enlow working on a new project. I can't say what it is yet, but it's really cool. But anyway, so we came up with this. We came up with this idea. He had this idea of a writer with writer's block, and basically the guy is like, and he's kind of a hack writer. He's kind of a they accuse him of stealing ideas. They accuse him of that kind. He's just he's kind of an unsavory kind of guy. So and we all know somebody in the film industry like this. I mean, there's a lot of shysters out there in the film industry, music industry, whatever. I mean, you and I, Don, have been in both. We know there's a lot of great people, but there are some shady people on top of it. So like I said, but yeah. So what we did was we took this guy who didn't have any ideas, had writer's block, and then we put this girl with him, and she had all these great ideas, and the ideas are what gets acted out through these short films. And that's one of her ideas was the Just a Night in the Woods. And she also has an idea about a bachelorette, a wedding gone wrong. She has one about a guy who has an unfortunate occurrence at a bar, and the other one is a woman who tries to eliminate her lover, but little does she know he's got a surprise for her. So yeah, there are these 4 kind of short films or whatever tied into this wraparound of him finding out that this girl is such a great writer, and immediately he's just taken with her. He wants to be her agent and all this other stuff. But I mean, you'll see that not every. I mean, just like in these stories, not everything is as it seems. Just like in his story, not everything is as it seems.
That's
Oh man, isn't it?
Let's talk about the piece that you guys screened at the Alamo that you're in.
Okay.
And you and I sat together. It was a lot of fun. My first compliment was I thought the lighting in it was incredible. So let's talk about everyone that's involved in the production. I thought it was top of the line. Yeah, please.
Okay, you want to talk about the lighting? Jordan Miller.
Yeah, I met him.
He was also the cinematographer and everything for the film, and he just had all these great ideas for the lighting and everything, and it would just look so good.
It did.
And you know how you do that movie magic kind of thing. Believe it or not, when we're in the truck, we're not moving.
Right.
But it looks like
yeah,
it.
But it looks like that, and that's Jordan. Jordan did all that, and but yeah, and then of course the people that were in the film with me, Jim Crut. Everybody knows Jim Crut. Shannon Atkins.
Shannon.
And then of course me.
That was Shannon's kind of first big role with dialogue.
Yeah,
I think she did a pretty good job.
I think so. I think she did a pretty good job. I'm put it like this. When I saw it after everything was edited, I was like, okay, awesome.
It looked
really good.
I think I agree with you. I think once you saw the whole complete project, you're like, okay, this is really good. It makes a lot of sense. And everybody did a great job. And
Do you remember in the theater I called down and I said, man, it's some great editing. He goes, oh, Jordan did it.
Yeah. I don't. That's one thing I don't do is edit, because it would just frustrate me, because I don't have the patience for it. I don't know how y'all do it.
Neither Nick and I are editors.
Yeah,
either.
it's hard.
We're always looking for editors.
Yeah,
you know?
but the only problem with editors is nobody likes editing. That's why people edit want paid for.
Yeah,
because if they liked it, everybody like acting. Everybody, people would do it for free if they liked it.
Right, exactly.
Can we take a look at the head on the writer's block, the graphics, real quick? That's number 3. Okay, so Matt, let's talk about where you're at with this. So I've seen one film that's part of this. Talk about how this thing started. Talk about your timeline and when you're very much hoping to wrap.
I was gonna say we've already wrapped shooting. It's all the films are done. We are waiting for basically right now it is being edited by a guy I know named Tom DeHart. He was the editor. He had a short film in the mini movie Mania called The End of Summer. It was the last thing we shoot, the very, very short film. But yeah, Tom's a really good guy. He wants to learn the film industry. He seems like he's really hungry for it. So yeah, but there's been a lot of people involved. Because what this project was initially trying to get everybody involved. We wanted to have all the filmmakers. We wanted to have different directors, different actors for every shoot, and we did. We actually accomplished that because the wraparound is myself and Mel Heflin, shot by Mark Byrne. Then we had the first film, which is actually Lisa Neild, who's out of Ohio.
Yeah, I know Lisa.
Her and Matt Jefferson did that. Her and a guy named Matt Jefferson, who is just an effects guru. This guy is amazing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He's amazing with effects and everything. But he's really cool with that. But so that was the first short. Then the second short we did with George Liu and Josue Salinas.
Yeah.
We did it with those guys at Russell Volker's house. We did at Russell Volker's house. We did it with them and Jesse Green and Todd Bobenrith, and Michelle Mullins before Michelle, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. She seems to really be enjoying Ohio, but she moved away. Unfortunately, she was a great talent.
Michelle.
Yeah, we do miss you, Michelle. She was a great talent as well. Remember her in Zero, and she was definitely one of the more standout roles in that. Then the third movie was actually Brad Chang, and Shannon Atkins was the director of that, and that actually starred Amanda Megan, Chris Laws.
Was that the segment filmed out at Lisa Kern's
Yes,
house?
it was. It was the day that we were shooting. I think we were doing like a double duty day.
Yeah, it was a double duty day.
Because Zero 2 was also being filmed. Yep. And then we had that. We had because we had Bob Heisler, we had he was a great guy, great actor. He was a lot of fun, and that really made that character his own. I think he did a really good job with that. But yeah, and then the last one, of course, was Jordan Miller's. So I think we did a really great job of. We wanted to incorporate everybody into the thing, and now we've got another guy, Tom DeHart, who's editing the film as well, and then his. So we wanted it to be like a full collaboration of everybody in the scene, and we had some ups and downs with it. Unfortunately, when you have a full collaboration, there are some hiccups with it. I'm not going to go into that on air.
Egos clash.
Yeah, there's a little bit of animosity sometimes when you deal with that stuff. But we've come back, and we're hopefully going to be releasing this thing in the fall. We're hoping to have a premiere and everything in the fall alongside the Sibylla 6. We'll see how that goes.
Cool.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's take a look at our next flyer, still number 4. And we're going to talk about that beautiful theater that you enjoy in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
Well, that place is always a dream come true for local filmmakers.
It really is. Those guys, Joey and those guys,
they're fantastic.
Yeah.
You can't say enough good things about them. The fact that theater's still there, and the fact that we are still able to do what we can do there is just wonderful. And like I said, these were 3 really cool movies. Now, 2 of them, the Vera Lee and Face of the Undead are both part 1s. Mm-hmm. Vera Lee is eventually, from what I understand, is supposed to be a web series. Now,
I worked on that project.
You could say a little more about it than I can, I believe.
I did work on the project. I did sound on the project, and I had a little, I guess you call it a little walk-on role. They said, "Hey, Buzz," real quick. So I just walked through, "Hey, cuz," and I was gone. But yeah, it was great. But yeah, it was it's written as a series.
Right. It's like a web series. It's going to be like a TV series.
She really Soraya would really love, and that's the writer director. And she would really love to have it be a TV series.
Right. That's her and Catherine.
Right.
Catherine Andrea is actually involved.
Catherine Andrea is involved in that.
We can bring up that. Let's bring up Sarah's post, right? This is Sarah Seidler's post.
Soraya.
I'm sorry.
That's
Still
okay.
number 5.
Yeah, here we go.
There you go. Yep.
And with our friend and friend of the show, Catherine Andrea. Catherine's
Soraya's there in the
purple. Our first returning guest. And I thought this was pretty amazing. They drove all the way out here from Missouri.
Yep.
Missouri, the show me state. 14 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. 14 hours.
How do you make it an adventure?
They used to, they used to live here. And
she lived down around Suffolk.
Suffolk,
Virginia.
down Fredericksburg, down that way.
A lot closer than Missouri.
A lot closer than Missouri. A lot closer than Missouri.
I enjoyed her film very much. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoy seeing Catherine in anything.
I gotta say about the film and everything. Okay, the guy who played the king, Rich, he fantastic actor. Man, I'm sorry, but I can't remember. Off the top of my head, I can't remember his name. But he was the knight that was going around. Fantastic guy. Of course, Jesse Green's in it. He's the Undertaker, not the Undertaker, but he's the
Corner.
No, he's not. No. He's not a corner. That's a different film.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong one here.
No, he's
so many films, so little time.
He's the master of torture.
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
the executioner.
Right. Yeah. So he beats the snot out of the head, the female head. But she's awesome too. She's actually over in Liverpool right now, studying. So and she actually came over, did the part, and then hung out with her parents, and then went back. So that was a lot of fun.
They did a great job casting that.
And they did. And the names, the cinematographer guy, him and I worked so well together. Like I said, I did sound on it as well, and he was awesome, and he did lighting and stuff like that too, and he was great. So it was a lot of fun.
I gotta ask, have you guys seen Catherine Andrea's The Truffles film?
Yes,
with Jesse Green?
I have seen Truffles.
That played before at the mini movie.
Okay, so that was part of the matinee,
the short film festival. Yeah,
I thought it was a lot of fun. We showed a clip of it. We had Catherine Andrea and Renee Tappy on with one episode that was a lot of fun. Let's go ahead, and I really thought the standout from that night was Faces of the Dead.
Faces of the Undead.
Faces of the Undead. Yeah. Let's take a look at the trailer, and then I'll let you guys talk about the film. And you're familiar with the cast. And
I know a lot of these guys. I know Ference, the guy that made them. Me and him have become pretty cool. And he's a great guy. So
and just real quick, I'm sorry, these afterthought things pop in my head this. But I wanted to give how we gave Waynesboro Theater a big shout. I got to give a big shout out to Bill from Main Street Waynesboro.
For sure.
For all the stuff and helping us promote that stuff and everything. So
he was cool enough. Bill was cool enough to let us go in the theater a couple days. We got it was like 10,000 people watched that clip too.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's awesome.
That is. So. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Yeah, that's cool.
The residue here is 100 layers thick.
This no accident.
Mind yourself, little Miss Innocent.
Tina Erikel. Mani patcher den bärar masko.
And make no mistake, those scraps are why I'm here.
Welcome to the casket coffin, monsieur.
your toys.
Matt, share with the audience a little bit on this, and then we'll pitch to Russell.
I met Ferenc. He came up to
Said the filmmaker's name. What's his whole name?
Ferenc Gregor. Ferenc
And
Gregor.
you can learn about this film on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. It has its own page. It
Yes.
has its own page and everything like that. He has this company called Things Forsaken, and the guy is a very talented prop maker. I mean, he does really, really great work, and he's a really good guy, really humble, and he was all about the theater. His whole crew came up and they just fell in love with Waynesboro, which I mean, people tend to do, especially from the bigger cities. But yeah, no, I mean, the fact that he was able to make this. I mean, we're talking about David Cronenberg, who broke down a lot of walls in horror, especially with the body horror and whatnot. Yeah. This movie to me has a lot. I mean, I know it's not Cronenberg. I mean, it's definitely very period piece influenced or whatever, but it's definitely got that. I mean, it's got the torture and it's got a lot of elements from Cronenberg and a lot of other things too. It's just a very unique film, and I'm really happy. I can't wait for the whole thing to be released. That was just part one. Mm-hmm. We only saw the first 30 minutes or so of it, and great cast with Nancy Ann Ritter and Christopher Enlow, those guys, they bring it every time, and they were in the headlining film, which was also directed by Jordan Miller, The Only Ones, which really did well. Unfortunately, I think Don, you didn't catch that one. Unfortunately, it was getting late. It was getting late or whatever. I get it, but like I said, but yeah, it was. But yeah, that movie, I really am looking forward to seeing where Ferenc goes with this film, because it's just so, it's just so it's so original. So you don't see a lot of this kind of stuff, and I mean, he does it so. I mean, if it wasn't well acted, I mean, some of these people he was saying was their first time acting. I couldn't believe it. I'm like that. I mean, it was very so well acted, and I mean, because if it wasn't well acted, it would look cheesy. It would look silly, But he really brings it together, and I mean, you could tell everybody's really working hard and they really mean it. And keep an eye out for this film. It's going to be really great, I think, when he puts it all together.
Yeah, I believe it. And my thing is that different portions of the film, I mean, they took a lot of, they got say, you've got some, it looks like torture, but it's basically some rituals, that the American Indians used to do. There was, of course, voodoo. And of course, this
you don't see voodoo much anymore.
Right, but it was right there, right?
And
then what really twisted me at the end, I'm like, oh my, should I give it away?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Damn it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, all right. If you get an opportunity to watch this film, or eventually when the whole thing comes out, but this was really put together well. The period, I would say somewhere in the early 1900s is what I felt like, in New Orleans, and all that.
Turn of the century.
Turn of the century, New Orleans, and everything. So, but it's off the wall, and there's many aspects of different, cultural voodoo, not voodoo's, but baddies, and all that kind of stuff from all around the world.
Right, and it's really interesting. It's just an interesting flick, and it's just like I said, it's just not something you see very much anymore.
True.
It's very original. So
just a quick thing is like you mentioned Nancy Ann Ritter and Christopher Enlow. This is when we had the preview, the premieres and everything, I kind of took Christopher aside and I said, "Hey, Christopher," I said, "I've noticed that you and Nancy Ann in a lot of films together as couples." I said, "If I didn't know better, I think you guys were the real deal." And he goes, "No,
it's not. No, right. Funny story.
They act together really well.
Nancy Ann is actually dating the original Michael Myers.
Tony Moran. That's hilarious.
Tony Moran.
That's right.
She's actually
dating
she and Tony have been together for a couple of years now.
Couple years.
They met at a show in Virginia back in or Maryland, one of the two.
In fact, Nancy Ann and Christopher, I was just kidding when I said that.
Well, it's all good.
You know how I am. Shit pops in my head. Boom! I gotta have it out.
I would say I'm not sure the name of the actress, the young girl in it. But I thought it had a flavor of Interview with the Vampire meets Lady Marmalade.
Yeah,
you know,
Chloe Stewart, I believe is her name, the lead gal. Yeah, the young gal,
the young girl she's a vampire.
Chloe.
You gave it away! Oh my God!
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you saw it in the trailer. That part, I think you actually saw in the trailer.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought it had a flavor of Lady Marmalade and Interview with the Vampire. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought it was well done. The graphics and the film, I think, is a Man Called Horse with George. Is it George Harris?
Richard Harris.
The English actor plays.
Yep.
He's in The Unforgiven
Right,
as
Richard Harris.
English Bob, Richard Harris.
Richard Harris.
And they do the Indian ritual where
Yep.
they put and they it was a rite of
yeah.
a rite of passage.
Rite of passage, yeah.
Yep.
For Indians.
You get to have your
pectoral muscles torn out.
but you have visions. You know, the Great Spirit comes to you and gives you your visions. You know, and that's
Familiar with the Billy Jack movies?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Love Billy Jack.
Me too. I loved all the Billy Jacks. He went and walked with the rattlesnakes for his visions. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to get into Cronenberg here, and this is an amazing filmmaker that has an incredible career. Has been around for an amazingly long time. I've had this image. I've put it up a couple of times on Facebook, but him as a young man and him as an older man. I think he's in his 80s now.
82.
82. 82.
Yeah.
The first filmmaker that I learned by name, I was a teenager when Scanners came out, and I mean Scanners was just like
Yeah.
People still talk about that head exploding scene to this day.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Michael
it's just-
Ironside.
yeah,
You know,
everybody still talk about that scene to this day.
what was it?
shoot.
David Keith
David Keith.
was no, that's Firestarter. I'm sorry.
David Keith is also in Platoon and Something About Mary, African American actor. He's the one-
That's Keith David.
Keith David.
That's
Yeah.
Day Lig. He's in
Right.
Day Lig.
David Keith is the redheaded white dude.
Warriors. The
Yeah,
Warriors.
yeah.
Warriors. Yeah.
with the
No, that's a different guy.
Yeah, but David Keith was in the Warriors though, different character.
David Keith was Firestarter. He played the dad.
Yeah,
with,
Firestarter.
Okay.
Right in Firestarter.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
The original, the
with
good,
the young,
the good Firestarter.
that's Drew Barrymore.
Drew
Right,
Barrymore.
Barrymore,
She
yeah,
was
yeah,
like-
yeah,
she was
little
little
girl, yeah.
She was little.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, back to David.
Let's take
Cronenberg.
let's take a look at our first trailer. Okay, Cronenberg has a new film coming out at the end of April, and I thought we would begin this conversation by looking at his newest trailer. The film is called The Shrouds. It's released nationwide April 25th.
When they lowered my wife into the coffin, I had an intense urge to get into the box with her.
You never considered cremation?
How dark are you willing to go? Those are the shrouds.
You mean like burial shrouds?
Not exactly. It's basically a kind of camera in her grave.
Don't you find it hard to take?
It comforts me.
It's like she's floating in outer space.
Word of warning. If their shrouds can be weaponized, people will find a way to do it. They found something.
What is that? Where did that video come from? It's walking amongst the wreckage.
Brutal. Some real hatred there. What's the motive?
You used to say that they were killing your sister in the hospital.
I just knew they were constantly edging towards experimental treatments they weren't being upfront about.
You still have her dental wreckage here.
I still do. Do you want JPEGs?
It's obvious they were tracking you through her.
Why would anyone want to track me?
Well, you tell me. Made a career out of bodies. I'm so happy to be involved.
Involved?
It makes me feel so alive.
I'm paranoid now. Things are getting weird.
Desecration wasn't just random.
She's in my head, my dreams, my life.
What could that mean, I wonder?
What's going on?
I can't believe it.
The shrouds.
It's not meant for the living.
Maybe not meant for the dead either.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. That looks great.
Holy cow.
That looks great.
Yeah, that's definitely a must see.
Absolutely. That's wow. He hasn't lost a step, has he?
Yeah.
Some of the elements that I saw in this that made me think about some of his earlier films is he always likes to work with a small cast. You know what I'm saying?
That's all you need.
Yeah. I forget the name of the actors that stars in this, but he plays Creole in Eastern Promises. I love.
I think is that Guy Pearce? I think
not Guy Pearce.
The other guy. Yeah.
The other guy. He plays a Russian mobster in Eastern Promises. Guy Pearce is a fantastic
great
actor too.
Great
man.
actor as well.
Yeah.
His career kind of, I remember back the Time Machine and everything. It kind of went, and then all of a sudden it's like it just skyrocketed again. And I'm like, way to go, Guy.
Yeah,
it happens. Sometimes, what's that old saying? If it hangs around long enough, it sometimes it comes back into style again. Like records,
or bell bottoms.
Yeah, the bell bottoms of records. I mean, they all come back into style eventually.
I can't remember if it's Alien Covenant or if it's Prometheus with Guy Pearce, and he's talking to David.
It's Prometheus.
Yeah, I thought that
he plays Yutani, Wayland Yutani.
Yeah. I thought that was an amazing scene. I love the whole thing with the David sculpture and I thought
it was pretty sweet.
We'll have to do a whole thing on the whole Alien franchise.
I'm up for that.
I was going to say Mark will join you for that. Mark Byrne will join you for that. He's a huge Alien fan as well.
That'd be cool. All right, let's take a look at. We decided to look at some of his earlier films, and I was thinking, the film that most people are going to be familiar with from the David Cronenberg repertoire is The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Right, because everybody remembers that whole
Boom,
the whole
Davis,
body horror with him. Absolutely, yeah.
So let's take a look at The Fly. This is the trailer.
I think you're making a mistake. I think you really want to talk to me.
Sorry, I have 3 other interviews to do before this party's over.
Yeah, but they're not working on something that'll change the world as we know it.
They say they are.
Yeah, but they're lying.
There is a limit, even to the imagination.
Human teleportation, molecular decimation, breakdown, and reformation is inherently purging.
Where our greatest creations meet our deepest fears.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
You are about to go beyond that limit.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. But they were definitely not human.
If you saw how scared and angry and desperate he is.
I'm sure Typhoid Mary was a very nice person, too, when you saw her socially.
No!
You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you?
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
Oh, no. What's happening to me? Am I dying? I want to know what's going on.
What does the disease want?
Wants to turn me into something else.
Oh, no.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Don't go back to it. Could be contagious.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Help me. Please, help me.
For me personally, a filmmaker is defined by their aesthetics, right? Like how, like their composition of the film, the whole aesthetic. I can look at The Fly, and I can look at the Shrouds trailer, and I know that they're made by the same filmmaker.
Right.
Just like a
got that
Stanley
feel.
Kubrick.
Oh, for sure.
It's got that feel. Yeah. The ending, you know, where you go, help me. It throws me back to the
black
original,
and white, yeah, the 50s.
the original,
Help
you know,
me,
with
help me, help me. It's Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent
Sure
Price,
was.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure was.
Vincent
The
Price,
legend.
Yeah, the legend himself.
No disrespect to Jeff Goldblum, but I mean, Vincent Vincent Price. Was
Big shoes to fill for Mr. Goldblum there, but
I mean, Goldblum's had a great career.
Great
I mean,
career.
Great actor.
Great
actor.
Now, I have honestly, I have to put them on two different levels.
Of course.
You know,
Oh yeah.
you know,
It's like anything.
Yeah.
It's like
you know.
it's like anytime you compare a remake to an original, especially if they're so far apart.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And same with Gina Davis, right? Oh. And here's one. I'm pretty sure both of these two are Mensa members.
Yes,
both
yeah,
of them.
they're
very smart.
Yeah, very smart people.
Yeah.
And not to get away from The Fly, but I always think of Jeff Goldblum when he's playing that scientist in Jurassic Park.
Malcolm.
Because he's a chaos.
Yes.
Chaos theorist. And he talks about and he said, it doesn't matter. Nature's going to find a way. They'll find a way. It doesn't matter. Oh, they're all females. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great film, too. He's a lot of fun. He's a great actor. He's very prolific. All right, let's take a look. This is the film I mentioned. This is the first Cronenberg film I saw. This is the trailer for Scanners. Let's take a look at that. It's fairly short.
I would like to scan all of you in this room, one at a time. I must remind you that the scanning experience is usually a painful one, sometimes resulting in nosebleeds, earaches, stomach cramps, nausea, sometimes other symptoms of a similar nature. At this point, I'd like to call for volunteers. Fine. Just sit right here, please. Now, I'd like you to think of something specific.
Do I have to close my eyes?
It doesn't matter.
All right, yes, I have something.
Yeah, I love that.
Still an iconic scene, even all these 40 years late, 40-something years later.
Yeah. Now, I think this led to a franchise, too. If I'm not mistaken, there's more than
I think
three scanners.
Three scanners, yeah.
I'm not sure. Was Cronenberg involved in the second and third? I don't
Honestly,
remember.
I don't remember, but none of them ever matched.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
That was when they were. Well, in the 80s, everything, especially horror and sci-fi, was sequel crazy. They just made way too many. Like Freddy and Jason and all those movies. They just made way.
They did a horrible Fly 2, right?
Fly
with
2.
the egg and the larvae, and Gina Davis is in it.
Not to go too far off topic here, but I actually learned why they do that. I don't know if you might know this, Russell, but I mean they make those intentionally bad sequels for tax write-offs.
Well,
the first
that's
movie
true.
I've heard like that's literally that's a fact.
That's true, and honestly, because I can tell you this, that some of the people that I've approached to try to invest in some of the projects that we do and stuff like that. Some of the questions says am I guaranteed a return? And I said it says it depends upon how popular the film is.
Right.
And it says okay, no problem. It says if we do, and then if I decide to do that, I just use it as a tax write-off.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, they can write off
anything. Yeah.
A lot more. Probably usually a lot. I don't know if this is true. So don't quote me on this. But sometimes I believe they can write off a little bit
that's why
more.
they make all these awful. You always wonder why would they make that?
Yeah.
It's like it's such a
I
bad.
can't believe I spent money
on
I want my money back.
Caddyshack 2. These god awful sequels.
Now I didn't go see that in the theater, but I did watch it on video.
Yeah, and I was gonna say
because it was like $2.
Yeah, so what it was, but it was not good.
No, it wasn't good.
Let's take a look. This is a fan-made video drone trailer. This is the film that you and I were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is Cronenberg's defining film from the 80s. It's an amazing film. Let's take a look at this trailer, and then we'll talk a little bit about Videodrome.
Okay.
Boy, these old logos are taking me back.
I know. I do.
Yeah. The good old days.
All right.
Max Rim.
There he is.
Your television station offers its viewers everything from softcore pornography to hardcore violence. Why?
Looking for something that'll break through, something tough. You know a show called Videodrome? It's just torture and murder. No plot, no characters. Very, very realistic. Where's it coming from?
Pittsburgh. What's in the USA?
No, I've been hallucinating for a while, ever since...
What?
Since I first saw Videodrome.
Why would anybody watch a scum show like Videodrome? Why did you watch it, Max?
What you see on that show, it's for real. It's not acting.
Something I want to play for you.
Wow.
I think the line was, "Death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh." I used that in a piece of artwork. This film stayed with me my entire life. I told you I had it on a special Criterion Collection DVD.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely for transcending film, and done with incredibly old school special effects. There's no computer graphics involved.
No, right. It's all
Way
practical. It's all practical. And the thing was that it said from the mind of David Cronenberg, and all I could think of says it said with this show, the movie, and I said it's one of the greatest. One of the greatest mindfuck films in history.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
And it's that one party says, well, how long have you seen? Well, since the first time I saw Videodrome. And it's like, oh shit, what the hell? Is this real? Is it live or is it Memorex? You don't know.
Right.
So, and then
am I hallucinating?
Yeah, exactly. So
Debbie Harry,
sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
No. Of course, Debbie Harry in the film, the pop star of her time, plays Nikki in it. Ben, what's your thoughts on Videodrome?
Oh, it's very influential on a lot of the news. I thought it was. I mean, they made him. Well, of course, you guys are probably familiar with the Wizard of Gore, and they made a remake of the Wizard of Gore, which is actually. I usually am not a big remake fan, but I thought that movie was infinitely better than the original, and it was kind of the same premise or whatever, and it was kind of but I mean, it's definitely very Videodrome. I mean, the movie's so influential, and I mean, James Woods did such a great job. It's really a shame that guy kind of lost his mind or whatever, because he was such a great actor, and I mean, he basically, I know like a lot of people said he was hard to get along with, he was hard to work with or whatever, but he was just so talented, and I mean, there was just such a great presence behind that film for sure.
Yeah, and
body horror again. Talk about body horror.
Yeah,
I mean, Cronenberg was the king of it. I mean, the godfather of it, if you will. You know?
You were talking about mindfuck, right? When a filmmaker can successfully play with reality, right? There's very few that do it well, but he's one of those.
David is one of the best.
He would be on the Mount Rushmore.
He doesn't lose you. You know, the story makes sense, and all of his, especially Videodrome, I can say all of his films, but Videodrome definitely involves like a very conspiratorial theorist. You can see why people like conspiracy theory people would enjoy it. And of course, it's got this weird aspect of it. It's like some kind of clandestine, experiments going on, and it's a fascinating film. Let's bring up the last still we got. And we were talking about the body horror. This is David Cronenberg, born in 1943. You said that he's 82.
Just turned 82, yeah.
Yep.
And Matt, elaborate a little bit on the definition of what body horror is. And you also mentioned that his son is now a filmmaker. So let's talk a little bit about that.
He is. I am not super familiar with Brandon Cronenberg, but I have seen one of his movies. I've seen a movie called Infinity Pool, which starred Mia Goth. Mia Goth is like the new Scream Queen, Maxine Pearl X. I mean, she's done a lot of she's a fantastic actress. I mean, she's a fantastic actress. I've heard she's another kind of weirdo on set or whatever, but I mean, as long as you have talent, as long as you make money, I've learned it seems like with this stuff, they'll put up with you. Now, the minute you stop making them money, that's when they throw you under the bus. It feels like look at some of these guys that they've done that to, or men and women alike. But Cronenberg did a movie called Infinity Pool, which was really interesting. It was kind of like a I mean, he definitely influenced by his dad. Like the Pool of Blood. A lot of we call it body horror, but basically it's like like the guy like in Scanners where the guy's head explodes. Or like James, when the Fly, when he morphed into the Fly and he starts doing all. I mean, basically it's like things that could happen to your own body, basically, or whatever. It's just like so crazy or whatever. But yeah, Brandon Cronenberg, again, I don't know a whole lot about his repertoire, but I know, like, I've seen Infinity Pool. It was a very interesting movie. If you like David Cronenberg, it's kind of similar, but I mean, he has his own. He puts his own spin on it too, obviously. But I mean, it's definitely definitely pretty similar to his old man, which I kind of admire because because a lot of people they try so hard to not be their parents, or whatever.
And why not take advantage? Why not take advantage? And it's like I say, why not take advantage of what you can learn, and then take that and make it your own.
Absolutely. That's kind of
don't poo-poo it off, right? Don't poo-poo it off because that's some good stuff right there.
We'll take a look at this last trailer and we'll bring this to a close. And I have a funny story about not all kids of filmmakers should make films, but this is his his first American release. The title you used was Shivers.
Yeah.
In America, it was released as They Came From Within.
Right.
So we'll take a look at this last trailer. This is his first American release. I think the film is from 1975.
Yeah. So it's 50 years old.
A bizarre murder-suicide has police baffled today as they attempt to untangle events leading to the discovery of a woman's body lying in a pool of blood.
He implanted her with a parasite. You gotta get at them fast.
Why won't you let me help you?
Listen to me. Tell him I need help and to make it fast.
can tell you, I rented this one on VHS. I rented Rabbit on VHS.
Oh, that's
it's so good. Both of them are so good, so influential too.
Yeah.
It's funny to think that, like, I know, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Dawn of the Dead is one hell of a movie. It always, yes. I mean, but that movie was even before Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
I mean, you could certainly see the influence. You could certainly see the influence on Romero and whatnot. But actually, a friend of mine, Lynn Lowry, was actually in that film. Was in Shivers.
Okay.
And she's actually touring around the country right now for the 50th anniversary right now.
Oh, really?
If I can get some money together, I mean, we'll just bring her to Waynesboro.
We'll have to find out. Yeah, we'll have to bring her down. Shoot,
There's very few filmmakers that have a 50-year career. So between 1975 and 2025.
Absolutely.
So I hope everyone checks out Shrouds, and I also encourage everyone to check out some of his earlier films like Shivers, Videodrome. I definitely want to have you back with some friends.
You can pick up Shivers at Walmart. They have a really cool exclusive Blu-ray steelbook set of Shivers.
Oh, wow.
That I've seen before. And it's like $15-20, not super expensive, but it's got all kinds of behind the scenes, and it's got all kinds of great special features. So yeah, if you ever want to check that out, if you're a physical media fan, that'd be the way to go there.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything, as we bring this to a close, or are there anything you guys want to plug or talk about?
Well, I guess
let's talk a little bit about some of the films you have coming out that are in post-production now, please.
I'm only kidding. This is sorry.
Let me grab a swig of water.
A swig of water for that one. But,
this might be
actually, this is okay. The newest stuff out. Okay, we've got. I've got. Now, this is not a horror film, but it's called World War II. That's WWII Operation Phoenix. Available. You can actually watch it for free. You just look for it, on like Roku or something, and of course you got to have commercials if you're going to watch it for free. And then I've got a film, American Werewolf. That's singular, American Werewolf, and that is on Tubi, right? It's on Tubi and Fossum, right? And there's another one out. This is kind of a psychological thriller horror thing, and it's called Poison Tree.
Oh, I've heard. I remember
Poison Tree,
that,
right? And of course, hopefully, Sibylla 6 this year. Those are. Don't forget the only ones. I wasn't in that film, but I did help make it. But yeah, I got a list of stuff here. But those are the more current stuff. But yeah. And
you're on Facebook, right?
Right. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, Russell Sage Patrick. I'm also on IMDb. Unfortunately, I have 3 pages on IMDb, and one of these days, and I keep saying this for the last 3 years, that I'm actually going to get on the computer and combine them so that it'd be just
I need
one
to
page.
clean mine up too. I got a couple dead projects on there I need to get off there, etc.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got them too.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, it's like okay, this is what my stage name. Put it under. They don't. They put it under this name, and then they put it under another name. So I'm like, okay, so. And I didn't even know I had 3 pages till I looked it up, and I'm like, holy crap, those are my projects, and I'm on there. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, dang, I didn't know I had all this stuff. But yeah, it goes back a little bit.
And we'll have more opportunities to plug more. Think about who you want to come back with. I definitely want you back, Russell.
Oh, well, thank you.
Let's take a look at the Cronenberg films together we've talked about.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Matt, you're always welcome on the show.
Appreciate it, Don. We always like having you around, man. I like both y'all around, man.
Absolutely.
Have some more of your friends on the show. Pick some filmmakers. One of the filmmakers I'd been hoping to explore, we started with Catherine Andrea, and we could definitely do more, is filmmaker Ken Russell. That did Altered States.
That was the one I was supposed to be on originally.
You were supposed to be.
That was when I was supposed to be on originally.
I'll say two things before we bring this to a close. I was fortunate enough to see a midnight screening of The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover with David Cronenberg in New York City. And not all filmmakers' kids should make films. The single worst film I've ever seen was Boxing Helena by David Lynch's kid. I went again to New York City.
I've heard that. I haven't seen it.
Watched it. I've heard the title. I've never.
Julian Sands. I'm a big fan of Julian Sands.
Yeah, but did he wound up getting lost in the? They just
he died hiking.
That's right. He fell off the mountain.
That's right. Yeah,
they just found him like 2 months ago. He'd been missing for like a year. I mean,
Yeah.
They finally found hiking.
I love hiking. People who follow me know I'm a big hiker. I was surprised to hear about it. But my understanding was that he went out ill prepared for the elements.
Right.
Yeah.
He got dehydrated, couldn't move.
Cold.
And, like a snowstorm snuck up on him. That kind of thing.
Yeah. It the elements will get you. You've got to be prepared when you go out there.
It's not nice to fuck with Mother Nature.
Nah.
Well, this has been incredible, gentlemen. I hope you guys had a good time. Nick, go ahead and bring us out.